So the Green Party have lost the workers. Eamon Ryan particularly, he's in a sleep world. He's not on this planet. Let's be fair. The proposal to ban tough and put Irish grannies, as Eamon Ryan said himself, which obviously what they say is what they're going to do. Let's be fair. Um, when he says he's not going to put Irish grannies in prison, it's the complete opposite. Let's be fair. He's going to throw all the grannies in prison because that's Eamon Ryan just doesn't like anybody that that's not from any big multinational corporation. Let's be fair. Before we say anything else, Eamon Ryan, you have to cop on a bit. You look at the companies, the data companies. There's a building a big facility in Mead, some data company that's taking up half the electricity grid. And you're saying that's very good for the environment. 124 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. These data centers that's taking up a country's worth of electricity, and you're saying that's good for the environment. And a few people down the road in County Cavan or County Roscommon burning a bit of tough. A few elderly people there with nothing else because the government's taking everything away from them. A few elderly people burning a bit of tough. Actually, look, we have to crack down with the sending the army. The data centers in Dublin and all that. Oh, don't worry, TikTok and all that, not paying any tax. All they're good people. They're great nations, great people. We have nothing to say about them. We're apparently blind. We can't even see them in the media, particularly. You think to be after Eamon Ryan saying, Eamon Ryan, look at this now. Be reasonable here. Like, you're going after the small man down the road, and you're not going after the big man that can well afford to do 180 U-turn and do green policies, whatever. But no, Eamon Ryan is completely fallen asleep at the wheel, and he's not bothered to go after them people. But he's going after the only people of Ireland. Because he doesn't like the only people of Ireland. We're terrible people. But the big international corporations paying no tax, living on the taxpayer, you and me. No, they're good people. They're nice people. They're decent people, if Eamon Ryan would say. And so don't even get me started about China building loads of coal plants and things like that. Again, the only way we're going to make a difference in the environment and things like that is if every country in the world says, we're going to make a difference, we're going to cut back. Because again, one country, a small country in Ireland, out of all the Western nations around the world, that's barely going to make any kind of impact. Let's be fair. If every country in the world said, right, in the morning, we're going to get rid of oil and things like that, that would make a difference. But no, every other country, imagine if we went to China in the morning and said we're going to phase out oil and we're going to make some green energy. China will laugh in our face and be like, these fuckers. And then it wouldn't listen to us. And the same with Russia, the same with all these countries. They wouldn't give up their oil. But yeah, Irish people have to give up everything. We have to give up a firstborn child to Eamon Ryan and to the Green Party for the environment. But again, this is the thing, and Michael Healy actually made a good point in the Dáil the other day. He was saying about the milk cartons. The way you buy milk cartons, there's plastic milk cartons in the shops, and you buy them. Years ago, and even I remember, even my granny, God rest her soul, they had a milkman. Again, the milkman, you see very little milkmen around the roads nowadays. But when I was growing up, there was milkmen. And they delivered the milk in glass bottles. It wasn't in plastic bottles. It was in glass bottles. And when people were finished with the glass bottles, with the milk, they put them back out for the milkman. The milkman, they take them away, and we use them. And that's reuse and recycling. That's just the basic that's basic really environmental work. We use and recycle. Again, instead of using plastic containers, because the majority of them plastic containers probably go to landfills and they're rotted into the ground, and they take years and years and years to disintegrate, and half of them end up on the roads or whatever. And Eamon Ryan, nowhere to be found in that. A very simple method, very simple thing they could do. Encourage people to use glass bottles and bring them into the shops. Take, for example, they could do a big scheme, bring them into Dunn's or whatever, and they get a few bob off the shop or whatever. Encourage people to do it. Again, this is how you encourage people to do it, and not just again the government are targeting people more or less with a gun to their heads and saying, listen, give up your turf or we'll come in with the guards and the army and we're going to take it by force. Like that, it's very forceful. Like you're not getting any choice in the matter. Either you do it or we'll come after you. But the international companies, now God no, we wouldn't go near them. It's terrible that, isn't it? And all the criminal gangs in the country and the drugs going wild, and they're going to probably send out the army and the guards to go after them. Because let's be fair, the Eamon Ryan is off, so he's off his workers completely. And I know they said your neighbour can sell their neighbour tough and things like that, but it's the companies selling tough and things like that. Or people, large scale people distributing tough or whatever the narrative is in their head. But we all know eventually they'd be like, oh, we're going after everybody for selling tough. But yeah, even as you know at the moment, the price of coal and the price of briquettes and things like that is it's not the wood is not even skyrocketed. It's gone through the roof. Um, it's just unbelievably harsh on people. To pay, particularly again if you only have a fire, like my father only has a fire. That's the only thing he relies on. Keeping it wrong, and I know you could say it's the summertime. You know you wouldn't need that much. And in fairness, yeah, that's true to a certain extent. But if you're there a cold night, you know you need a fire on, or you know even God forbid, it'd be a cold winter this year. And again, you will find winter coming, and that's the thing. It's not going to be sorted out before winter. Let's be fair now. Um, but yeah, like I don't know how Eamon Ryan stood at it. Like, let's be fair now for a second. You know, let's be fair now. The carbon tax itself gone on the 1st of May. You know, very considerate of people's well-being, nothing. Not of care or given to them. Like quite literally, we're just literally just people. At the end of the day, we're just a number on their checkbook, and that's the end of the thing. So how much tax they can get off each one of us, and when we die, you shall look at. It's a sacrifice we're willing to make, as Number 40 would say. But yeah, it's a great country. But like somebody has to tell Eamon Ryan that the star has set this in the country, because apparently he must not know. And somebody has to tell Eamon Ryan that look at China, look at India, look at all these Asian countries, born in plastic, you know, big industrial complexes, and small old Ireland with a few people born in tough, a few people lighting the fires, maybe a few cars or whatever you could take out of 5 million people compared to a billion people in China. You know, I don't know what you can say that Ireland's killing the environment or killing the planet. I don't know, could you go to that net? But obviously we should do a bit, obviously. But, you know, people are already struggling at the moment, so your bit might not be necessary when people are struggling to survive at the moment, let alone doing astronomical miracles.